Jay's Sports Lounge car starts first. Behind him, the number 21 car of Chad Pendleton from Hilliard, Ohio. The easy all-green GoBioBase.com car, 8th in the Columbus Modified points this year with a win. There's the number 9 of Jason Timmerman from New Bremen, Ohio. The Amsoil, Dallinghouse Auto Sales, Chariot Motors, Speedway Lanes car. A couple of wins this year, one at Shady Bull and one at Angola for the driver from New Bremen, Ohio. The outside of row number 2 has that black and green number 13 of Kyle Purvis from Caledonia, Ohio. The Business Management Consultants, SP Consulting car, 15th in the Columbus points. He's a rookie in the modifieds this year, but a great qualifying lap this weekend. 21 car driven by Greg Stapleton. It's the white 21 car from Troy, Ohio. The Stapleton Machine and Tool, Terry's Radiator, Spring Hill Auto Wrecking car, 3 wins at Killcare in 2011. The number 2, he was Columbus Motor Speedway Modified champion. That's Shane Shirk out of Springfield, Ohio. The Tilton Trucking, Maplewood Tree Service, McGonigal Engine car. 5 wins, 7 second place finishes this 2011 season. The white number 2 with the orangish number on the side is driven by Kyle Jones from Germantown. The Business Management Consultants, Manly Graphics car, 3 wins at Shady Bull, 1 at Killcare, a 2nd in Winchester, a good season. Would like to add a main event win here today. On the outside, the 07 car, driven by Mike Rush from Powell, Ohio. The Sports on Tap, PD Paycoff Trucking car, 2nd in the points here at Columbus with 1 win. On the number 5 car on the inside lane, that's Bob Grubaugh from Canal, Winchester, Ohio. The Extreme Signs and Graphics, Humphreys Engine car, 4th in the Columbus points with a win. Looking to the outside, one of the heat race winners last night, the orange 57 car of Tyler Knuckles from Groveport, Ohio. The Jake's Columbus Motor Speedway car, former Super Cup Stock Car Series champion of a couple years ago. To the inside lane, the white modified, driven by former Columbus Modified champion Terry Humphrey of Grove City. Basil Oil, Humphreys Engine Service, Driveline 1 All-City car, 6th in this year's points with 1 feature win. The 31 car on the outside lane, driven by Ryan Fleming. Ryan Fleming from Xenia, Ohio, the Muffler Brothers, Xenia Tool Rental, Dayton Softwater car, 2nd in the Killcare points with 4 feature wins this season. The number 73 car of Dave Dysinger from Columbus, the Raider Industries All-City Auto Wrecking Coleman car, 11th in the modified points at Columbus. Looking back to the outside behind him, the number 80 car of Daryl McKay. Daryl McKay from Lithopolis, Ohio. The Architect Glass, M&M Head Service, Magical Moments Karaoke, and Valvoline car. On the inside lane, Jason Wells in the blue car with no numbers on the left side. Numbers on the roof, though, for Jason Wells from Ostrander, Ohio. The Ewing Racing, Napa Auto Parts Wells Landscaping car. The outside of him, there, Chris Lindley and the number 35 from Grove City, the Uncle Kenny sponsored ride. These drivers made it through the last chance race earlier today. The 22 of Donald Parsons, one of the last chance race winners from Westerville, Ohio. The Auto Smarts Radio, BustedForDrunkDriving.com. And OD on Barbecue sponsored car, 7th in the points with 1 win this season. The number 12 of Alex Rosenberry, 14-year-old driver from Midvale Speedway, New Philadelphia, Ohio competitor. The Rosenberry towing car, 4th in the Midvale points this season, made it through the last chance. We've got the 16 car of Aaron Timmerman from New Bremen, Ohio, the Platinum Auto Group Amsoil car on the outside. Jason Mahaffey getting up into his spot in the black number 14. Jason Mahaffey from Miamisburg, the Smart Choice Landscaping, Commercial Roofing, Shady Bowl Speedway car, 3rd in the Killcare points this year with 4 feature wins. The white and red number 30 car of David Hill from Orient, Ohio, the Hill Eagle Trucking Interactive and Overflow.com ride, was 12th in the Columbus points this season. We look back a couple of spots. Moving up on the inside lane is the number 11 car of George Lindsay from Grove City, Basil Oil, Humphreys Engine Service, Driveline 1 and All-City ride. And to his outside, the number 62 of Adam Stewart from Canton, Ohio. The Stewart Flooring, Canton Floors, Oliveri Contracting, Schneider Home Improvement, Butch's Auto Repair ride was 7th in the Midvale points. And rounding out our starting field this afternoon for the Modified 40, the number 69 of Donnie Dash from Columbus. The Hotspot Tavern, M&M Head Service, and ASIN Recovery car is our final starter. Coming to green in turn number 4, Townsend and Timmerman are underway. caution is out as we've got the number 5 car of Bobby Gruball spun around in turn number 2. Yellow flag is out for Gruball. In the number 5, it will in turn number 4. Jason Timmerman rather on the outside lane, and we are underway. Good start for Jason Timmerman in the 9. Timmerman in the outside lane moving forward, has him by a nose going into turn number 3. Jason Timmerman on the outside of Buddy Townsend. 1 lap in the books as they cross the stripe, and that time it was the 0-2 of Townsend at the line. Shane Shirk, Columbus Motor Speedway point champion in the modified, trying to move up on the inside lane. He's passing Purvis. Purvis, who had a great qualifying lap, running the high lane. Up front, your 0-2 car of Buddy Townsend, pulling out to a couple of car length lead on the number 9 of Timmerman. Your leader Townsend, and Shane Shirk puts his car in the second groove. He starts to move forward. Shane Shirk picking up 5 feature wins this season. George Lindsay in the number 11 car is off the pace in the second groove. Is going to bring out a caution. Yellow flag for George Lindsay in the 11 car. So Lindsay jumped in that car earlier, and it looks like the 13 of Purvis and the 1 car of Humphrey got hooked up on the front stretch while they were checking up, and now they're unhooked. Coming to green off of turn number 4, Buddy Townsend ready for the restart. Timmerman applied some pressure in turn number 2, maybe laid the bumper a little bit to him, goes down into 3. There's still single file formation throughout the field, and Shirk is already looking to the second groove again. Single file for the first 6 cars. The 7th place car of Shirk has been peaking out there. He drops back to the bottom though on the rear bumper of Mike Rush. And Shirk again looks to the... tries the high lane of Buddy Townsend at the front. Back to the bottom he goes as the 0-2 car of Townsend remains the leader through 6 laps. Back in the field, Knuckles and Wells. Down in turn number 1, sideways. Knuckles able to pick up a spot. Bobby Gruball has caught the lead pack into the outside now. The 21 car, the white 21 of Greg Stapleton. Greg Stapleton in the white 21 car to the outside of Pendleton. The 2 21s in our field today, locked in a battle. Shane Shirk just hasn't had any success in the outside lane yet. Looked like Terry Humphrey dropped off the pace a little bit middle of the backstretch. We'll see if he continues on. Looks to be okay on the front straightaway. Does Humphrey. One of the best cars on the raceway right now, that 21 of Greg Stapleton. He's won the main event modified portion in the past, and he's working for the 3rd spot on the outside of Pendleton. Buddy Townsend, Jason Timmerman, Chad Pendleton, and Greg Stapleton. The top 4, Kyle Jones looking for an opening. Oh, 3rd and 4th. Pendleton goes up the track a little bit, takes part of the lane away from Greg Stapleton in a close race for the 3rd position. Trying to make the track a little bit wider for Stapleton is Pendleton. They're coming up on the 62 car of Adam Stewart, who is about to go a lap down. Townsend leading this modified feature at main event 24 Columbus Motor Speedway. Your leader, Buddy Townsend. 2nd place, Jason Timmerman running 3rd. the 21 car of Chad Pendleton. And we got Rosenberry spinning coming off of turn number 4. And the field coming to turn number 4. Look out. You got cars bouncing off of one another as they come to the 4th corner. Jason Mahaffey, David Hill, Donnie Nash, Alex Rosenberry, who was the cause of the yellow with his spin in turn number 4. Everybody was able to continue, and we are back underway. Trouble in turn number 4. Tyler Knuckles and Jason Wells get together in the 4th corner. Coming to green off of turn number 4, Buddy Townsend, and ready to go. Shane Shirk in the number 2 car. Shirk in the number 2 car, racing with the 07 of Mike Rush. On the outside, Shirk looks to the high side and also for the lead. Jason Timmerman stuck his car out there. Takes a look at Buddy Townsend. Bobby Grubauer checks up. He got sideways coming off of turn 2 as he was on the outside of Shane Shirk. We are single file throughout the pack. No one ready to make a move at this point. See a couple drivers that have tried it so far. One of those, Greg Stapleton in the 21 in his 4th spot, as Kyle Jones looking to the inside. Wasn't able to get in far enough before turn number 1. 2-car breakaway. On the outside, Jason Timmerman and Buddy Townsend. Buddy Townsend, Jason Timmerman, Chad Pendleton, and now Terry Humper to the inside of Grubauer. We've got trouble. Trouble in turns 3 and 4 as the 30 car of David Hill has gone around. The leaders coming into the corner. They're going to be able to get checked up without an issue this time. 16 complete with 24 to go. David Hill in the 30 car is spot. $16 laps in, 24 to go. Buddy Townsend, Jason Timmerman, Chad Pendleton, Greg Stapleton, and Kyle Jones to the green, closing on the halfway mark of the modified 40 at Columbus Motor Speedway. And we are back underway. We see the 22 of Parsons deep in the field, trying to get around the number 80 of Darryl McKay. He was a winner of our last chance earlier. Both of those drivers were. Kyle Jones in the number 2, Greg Stapleton in the 21 car. For the 4th position, Jones all over that 21. Just looking for an opening. I think Stapleton would like to go to the outside of Pendleton like he did a couple of green flag runs ago, but if he does, he's afraid that he might open the door for Jones, and Jones has been close to diving to the inside a couple of times on the Troy, Ohio driver. Halfway this time by, it'll be 20 laps in, 20 laps to go for the 02 of Buddy Townsend. Townsend and Timmerman have pulled away from Pendleton. He's kind of holding up 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, all bumper to bumper. And Shane Shirk just about to give it a try again in the 2nd group. Shane Shirk drives hard into turn number 3. Up front, boy, the top two in that battle. Maybe a little bit of contact there as Jason Timmerman and Buddy Townsend have pulled away from Pendleton but are in a battle of their own. The 9 of Timmerman just a little bit better through the middle of the turns than the 02 car of Townsend. Of course, he's doing all he can just to protect the bottom and not open the door up for the 9 of Timmerman. Shane Shirk starting to work forward a little bit on the outside groove. He is side by side with Mike Rush for the number 6 spot. Shirk moving forward now as that group starts to stack up a little bit, 3rd through 7th, and Shirk is up to 6th via the outside lane. Next on his list, the number 2 car of Kyle Jones. Side by side, the number 2 cars in this race. Jones on the low side, Shirk on the outside lane. Going into the turn, Shirk has his car smooth in that second groove. As we have completed 26 circuits, 26 laps into the books. There's 14 to go that time, 13 laps remaining. One of the longer green flag runs of this race currently. Timmerman's lost a car length or 2 on the 02 of Buddy Townsend. And Shirk also has fallen back behind the 07 of Rush again a little bit. Shane Shirk running the high side of Mike Rush. Kyle Jones has that look to the inside of Greg Stapleton. Jones and Stapleton for the number 4 spot. And again, a car length separates the top 2 as Timmerman's pressure has sort of been quiet the last few laps as that car length remains between the 2 drivers. Shirk continues to work hard in that second groove, just doesn't quite have enough speed above the cars in front of him to make the pass. He had passed Rush at one point, but Rush has reassumed the number 6 position. And the leaders have caught some slower traffic. David Hill and Donnie Nash right ahead of Buddy Townsend. Will they go to the outside or the inside? Oh, Hill goes up in front of the leader. Right in front of the leader. Townsend gets underneath them. Boy, a close call for the leader, Buddy Townsend. As Jason Timmerman almost had an opening to make a move as David Hill got sideways while being lapped by the leader. 33 complete, 7 laps to go. The lead duo with about a straightaway advantage now in the 3rd place car of Pendleton. He's not quite up to the speed that you would be expecting out of the 21 car, but he's been good enough to hang on to 3rd. Oh, Timmerman looks low on the 02 of Townsend. Townsend closed the door going into turn 3 to pass the number 12 of Rosenberry and put him his first lap down. 5 to go, the signal being given on the stand, and here comes Timmerman looking to the high lane. Jason Timmerman looking to the outside in turns 3 and 4. Townsend sideways coming off of the 4th corner, still hanging on to it with 36 complete. Timmerman's car pushes up the banking a little bit off of turn 2. He loses a car length. Side-by-side action back in the field as they work around the 30 of lap car David Hill. Bob Grubauer gets into Hill and turns him sideways. Knuckles then turns the 5 car of Grubauer sideways, and caution will come out. Caution out. 30. Buddy Townsend, Jason Timmerman, and Chad Pendleton to the green. 4 to go. Townsend coming to 3 to go. Humphrey getting around the outside of Grubauer. Grubauer's got his hands full. Something not right with that number 5 of Grubauer. Tyler Knuckles puts his car in the outside lane. He's moving forward as well as the 5 of Grubauer has slowed, and Knuckles taking the opportunity in the outside lane to pick up 2 or 3 spots. White flag this time, final circuit coming up for Townsend. Down the backstretch into turn number 3. Rolling to 4. The Jerry's Engine Shop, Beacon Road Tire, J Sports Lounge, 0-2. Buddy Townsend the win. Second to Timmerman. Third to Pendleton. Fourth place to Stapleton. Fifth to Jones. Sixth place to the 07 of Rush. Seventh to Shirk. Eighth to Humphrey. Ninth to Knuckles. And 10th to the number 5 of Grubauer. The Jay's Sports Lounge, Jerry's Engine Shop. Sponsored 0-2 car, the win here today at Columbus Motor Speedway for main event 24 in the modifieds. Let's hear it for Buddy Townsend. Well, Buddy, you got a big group of fans up there in the crowd cheering you on today, and you needed them to cheer you on. You had some pressure there from the number 9 of Jason Timmerman. He kept looking to the outside, but you kept your car on the bottom. You weren't about to open up the inside lane.
No, I wasn't. By far, the lower group was the fastest way around here. But, I mean, if he would have got out there, I'd have given him room to race. I'm not a dirty racer or anything, but he got into me a couple of times. That's racing. I just want to thank my family for coming out. Ray and Sherry, Monty, a car owner. J Sports Lounge. Beacon Road Tire. Jerry's Engine Shop. My brother helps me tremendous. Jim Marple and everybody else here.
You've won some modified races in the past. You've won features here at Columbus Motor Speedway, but what's it mean to win on main event weekend with a number of cars and some of the strong challenges we have today?
It means a lot. There's a lot of tough cars here, and you know, just the way it is. Everybody's real fast. I was really surprised. I turned a pretty decent lap, and I barely made the top 8. You know, but we worked on our car, got it going good, because it was pretty much destroyed the last race here, and we got it right.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's hear it again for the winner, Buddy Townsend. Amazingly, Bud Perry and his team had a backup battling within points. They said, hey, the car's over there. You're welcome to use it if you want to start tomorrow's race. And that's what exactly he will be doing. So great sportsmanship from the Redskin Motorsports team. The 26th and final starting position after a crash in qualifying yesterday. He jumps into one of Bud Perry's cars for today's event. Normally driving the Miller Lite Esper Beverage Freedom Harley Davidson car, the points runner-up coming in, a three-time main event racing series point champion. Today, an honorary member of the Ohio Posse from Canton, Ohio, the number 7 of Rich Roar. Starting in the 25th position, also one of the main points contenders, jumping in a backup car, it's going to be the number 44. He was one of the top points contenders coming in. A main event win at Shady Bowl this season. He is the RT Sales, Josh and Dad's Auto Body, The Pines, Carmichael's Pub, and Harp Racing Ride from Quincy, Ohio, 4th in the standings, Josh Smith. The outside of our next row forward. In the F&P Motorsports, car number 64, driver from Christiansburg, Ohio. He competed at the Shady Bowl Speedway, his home track, in the main event race in August. Brian Fries. And on the inside lane, the Dillon Race Cars, Distillado Water Company, Wounded Warrior Project, Car 01, a two-time late model feature winner in his career at Midvale Speedway from Stowe, Ohio, Bob Gaynor. To the outside, a row forward, a veteran driver that's raced in a lot of series across the Midwest over the years, the R&A Express left-hander chassis exhaust works, Beeline Alignment Service number 58, 12th in the current points from Columbus, Ohio, Burgess White. And on the inside, a former regular in the modified division here at Columbus Motor Speedway, 9th in the standings, the Architect Glass number 50 of Columbus, Ohio, driver Jeremy Dennis. To our next car, a veteran driver that struggled for speed this weekend, but he won the season opener this year at Sandusky Speedway. The Powerline Racing Engines, TNT Customs, Conquest Industries, and Baker Race Cars number 4 from Akron, Ohio, a former Iceman Series champion, Scott Baker. To the outside, a driver that's won at Columbus. He's won at Shady Bowl, and he's won at Killcare this season. Bullet Fabrication Platinum Express car, the number 42 of Massillon, Ohio, driver Bob Siblett Jr. To the inside in the CS and SS, Team Caden Bowl, number 45, 11th in this year's standings, a former Columbus Motor Speedway regular from London, Ohio, John Strobel. To the outside lane, the car number 116, he's won a main event race several years ago at the Dixie Motor Speedway, the Great Lakes Helicopter, Port City Race Cars, RJS Equipment, and Collins Heavy Haul. 116 from Mount Morris, Michigan, Jack Varney Jr. To the inside in about his third or fourth season of main event racing now, the Direct Detail, Maximum Elevator, FLF Race Cars, and Baker Performance Parts, car number 112 from Brook Park, Ohio, currently 6th in the standings, Brian Short. To the outside, a racer, second-generation driver, his brother, a couple rows back in the outside lane. The Sibla Racing race car number 63 with a couple of late model wins at Midvale Speedway this season, Massillon's Rick Sibla. To the inside, a three-time main event racing series point champion, the Ice Oil Company, Frank May Garage, Medina Mountain Motors, and Howe Racing Car. The three-time main event champion with 9 career main event wins, including the Columbus main event in 2000, Seville, Ohio driver, the Iceman, Tim Ice. To the outside lane, in the 12th starting position, the green and white, car number 21, Aluma Aluminum Trailers, Amsoil, Mid-America Properties car, 5th in the standings from New Bremen, Ohio, Drew Charlson. Making his first Columbus Motor Speedway late model appearance in his rookie year in an Outlaw late model. He's been competing in the modifieds for a few seasons. His dad, Mike Eddy, has won here at Columbus Motor Speedway an ASA competition in the past. It is the Howe Racing, Wheeland Contractors, Woodward Power Steering car from Midland, Michigan, Travis Eddy. To the 10th starting position, just missed the invert, but a good qualifying lap, and then won the heat race last night. The car looks good this weekend. The Creative Tool and Die, Jim's Towing, number 88 from Asheville, Ohio, a former late model champion in the sportsman division here at Columbus, Jamie Hunt. And on the inside, a many-time point champion in the late model division, a many-time feature winner here at Columbus Motor Speedway, 7th in the standings, Mr. Hard Luck in 2011. Including this weekend when he crashed the car during practice. He's in a backup car for the race today. The Architect Glass Jag Zero of Columbus's Donnie Zero Hill. Starting 8th, the two-time main event champion. He won 2 of them and was the first driver to ever repeat as a winner of a main event race. The TA Gentry Supply, Crown Motors, Oatman Excavating, Enterprise Iron and Metal, car number 37. He's from Wayland, Michigan. This week's top qualifier, the only driver in the 12-second bracket, Terry Seneker. In the 7th starting position, the black and blue, car number 14, the Wolverine coach, Harrison Packing Del Norte, Zeb's trading car. He is from Lawton, Michigan. The Kalamazoo Clash top qualifier this year, second in qualifying yesterday, Trent Hellinga. Starting in the 6th spot, last year's point champion, this year a two-time winner on the series at Midvale and Angola. CNC Wholesale, FLF Race Cars, Medina Mountain Motors, the sponsors. Third in points entering, has a chance with a points leader right in front of him in this race today, Jimmy Carter. Starting 5th, a two-time winner of this main event as well, the white and green car number 14, TA Gentry Supply, Crown Motors, Weller Truck Parts, Seneca Performance Ride. He was a winner of last year's main event as well as the one in 2008. He's from Berrien Springs, Michigan, Steve Needles. Starting 4th, the Myers Garage and Drive-Thru, Berger Electric, Amsoil, G&Q Specials, and Continental Express. Number 10, your points leader. 4 out of the 5 races this season of the main event circuit. He picked up a top 5 finish. He leads by some 20-some points for this weekend's race. Edgerton, Ohio driver, Smokin' Bud Perry. In the 3rd starting position, making his first main event appearance in the quality detail, Lane Automotive, Penske Shocks and Landrum Springs. Car number 24, a former CRA Super Series Rookie of the Year from Plymouth, Indiana, Tyler Rohrig. And starting on the front row, your 7th fast qualifier in the Royal Truck and Trailer, car number 71, picked up a couple of feature wins in Michigan this season from Milan, Michigan, Harold Fair Jr. And the pole sitter is a former Columbus Motor Speedway track regular, finished top 5 in the late model points a few years ago with a couple of feature wins. He was 8th fast in qualifying, just made the cut in the time trial session. Travco Construction, FLF Race Cars, number 2, 13th in this year's main event points. From London, Ohio, Johnny Jenkins. Let's hear it for the whole field of the 26 starters in today's main event race. Drivers, start your engines. To start this main event, number 24, Johnny Jenkins and Harold Fair Jr. in our front row. Ready for the green, coming off of turn number 4, Johnny Jenkins and Harold Fair Jr. to bring him in. Here we go, main event racing at Columbus Motor Speedway. Into the lead goes Jenkins in the number 2. Oh, a close call between Jimmy Carter and Bud Perry in the top 5 as they nearly hit 2 of the top point contenders. Your leader, Johnny Jenkins, in the number 2. Second, Harold Fair Jr. 78 car of Travis Eddy has spun around in turn number 2. Travis Eddy in the 78 is spun with 1 lap in and 99 laps to go. Eddy has looped it. Car of Travis Eddy has spun around in turn number 2. Lead battle, Rich Rohr, the points runner-up coming into the event, heading pit side. 14 of Steve Needles. Ready for the green, coming off of turn number 4. Here we go, Jenkins brings him in. Travis Eddy in the 78 car already going to the outside lane to move up in the high groove. Travis Eddy working around some of the cars at the back of the pack that are a bit off the pace. Of course, he had that problem on the first circuit. And Eddie has now picked up 3 positions. Also see Scott Baker and Burgess White racing for position back in the pack. Leading is Johnny Jenkins. There are 3 laps in. 3 laps in the books of this main event. 24. Baker has picked up a spot from Burgess White. Brian Freeze at the back of the field working on Josh Smith, trying to pick up the spot from him. Single file formation around the track. And now Trent Halinga in the number 14, ready to make a move on Jimmy Carter. Trent Halinga in the number 14 car racing with Jimmy Carter. Tim Ice, heavy smoke out of the 65. It's going to bring out a yellow. Yellow for Tim Ice in the 65 with heavy smoke. So the 65 of Tim Ice, heavy smoke coming out of his car. Jamie Hunt's going pit side, the 88. 10th fast qualifier. 44 of Josh Smith has taken his template-bodied car to the pits after he's using that as a backup from having problems in his car during practice. 11th, Brian Short. 12th, Drew Charleston. 13th, John Strobel. 14th is Rick Sibble, and 15th, Jeremy Dennis as we're back to green. 16th, the 116 of Arnie. 17th, the 42 of Sibla. And we've got the 4 of Baker, the 58 of White, the 78 of Eddie, the 01 of Gaynor, and the 64 of Freeze. Smoke coming out of that number 65 of Tim Ice. Jamie Hunt rejoining the pack in the 88 car, though he'll be a lap or 2 down. And Tim Ice does drop off the pace. He waves his hand out the window. He's riding around the bottom, and Tim Ice will pull to the infield. Johnny Jenkins leads. This will be lap number 9 for Jenkins, your leader. Harold Fair and the 24 of Rourke, 3-car breakaway. We see Jamie Hunt back in the field making a pass of Travis Eddy. Hunt in the 88 car is 2 laps down. Trouble, caution down in turns 3 and 4. Yellow flag is out. Jamie Hunt in the 88 car turning the 58 of Burgess White. Off of turn number 4, 9 laps in, 91 to go. We are back underway at Columbus. Whoa, Jeremy Dennis. Other cars pile in.
Definitely good.
Bob Sibla Jr. in the 42 car heading to the pits. Jeremy Dennis got into one of the cars in front of him there as they checked up there in turn 3. Something broke on the right front. And in the 2-day show at Lucas Oil Raceway in Indianapolis with all of the features on Sunday. Johnny Jenkins coming to turn number 4 for the green. 91 from the finish, and main event 24 is back underway. Jenkins, who's been strong in the early laps, your leader. Picks up 2 car lengths already. Steve Needles getting racy. Also Terry Seneker, top qualifier to the inside of Halinga into 3. Oh, contact. They continue on. Halinga now gives him room, but Seneker drops back into line as the top 2 qualifiers nearly wad him up down in turn number 3. Lap 11 at the line for Johnny Jenkins, the leader. Two of the green team cars started to get racy after the green. It took Halinga a while to get up to speed in the black and blue number 14. And Halinga actually a little bit of smoke starting to come out of the 14 car. And just as I say that, he pulls over. He's going to be done. Trent Halinga and the 14. Maybe some engine issues on that ride, and yellow comes out for Trent Halinga. Trent Halinga, the Lawton, Michigan driver.
Back to 11 or 12.
Bad luck has been the story for Trent Halinga over the last year or two, and especially here at main events. And again, it continues this year after being fast and setting second quick time. He's done for the day as he has been unable to come back onto the track. And here comes Needles to the inside of Bud Perry. Perry closes the door on Needles. That's two restarts in a row where Steve Needles has looked to the inside of main event point leader Bud Perry. Back in the field, Travis Eddy, who spun to bring out our first caution, gets around Burgess White. Lap number 13 goes on the board. Here comes Needles now taking a look to the second groove. Steve Needles will try the second lane early today. He goes to the high side of Smokin' Bud Perry for the number 4 position. Side by side in the 4 spot. Needles sideways coming off of 2. He gives up a little bit of ground, but again pulls up to the door of the number 10 of Bud Perry in turn number 4. Points runner-up Jimmy Carter closing the gap on the number 10 of Perry. Side by side for the 4 spot. We've seen Needles and Seneker go to the outside lane at main events in the past, and starting to do so now is Steve Needles, the Berrien Springs, Michigan driver whose car was really free yesterday during qualifying. It cost him a few positions. Still pulled off a 4th place effort in the qualifying run, but Needles drops back to the inside lane in front of Jimmy Carter as he's unable to complete the pass quite yet. Perry again in that 4th spot has slid back about a straightaway from the 24 of Rohrig. Top 3 with a couple car lengths in between each of those. Not really any challenges going on there. Rick Sibla makes a run at the 45 of John Strobel. Picks up a spot from Strobel. 19 laps in. Brian Freeze starts to slow in the 64 car. He gets the move over flag. We'll go to the bottom. I think Freeze might be pulling off into the infield. He continues on down the backstretch. Brian Freeze in the 64 slows and will turn into the infield. Bob Gaynor's also turned into the infield, and we're able to keep it under green. 21 laps in, and Johnny Jenkins is pulling away from Harold Fair Jr. Needles again still applying pressure to the number 10 of Bud Perry, and here comes Seneker to the inside of Jimmy Carter. Seneker gets to the inside of Carter. He's there. Carter gives him some room now after they touched initially. Terry Seneker up into the number 6 position. Donnie Zero Hill looks to the bottom of Jimmy Carter as well. Will pick up the spot. Leading Johnny Jenkins, 2nd place, is Harold Fair Jr. running 3rd. Tyler Rohrig 4th is Bud Perry. And the 2 green team cars are right behind them. Needles and Seneker at the 1/4 mark of the race, this time at the line, starting to get racy. Needles applying pressure to the number 10 of Bud Perry, and here comes his teammate Seneker to the inside. Terry Seneker to the inside of Steve Needles, so Needles will go to the 2nd groove and try to pass point leader Bud Perry. 26 complete for the number 2 of Johnny Jenkins. Needles on the high lane. They are wheel to wheel now. This is the best run that Needles has had towards Perry. They touched a bit, could see some tire smoke. They continue on, and Steve Needles has picked up the number 4 position. Needles into the 4th position. His teammate Terry Seneker moves by Bud Perry as well, and Donnie Zero Hill to the outside lane. Hill on his way to the front. A lot of the passing in this race has begun now in the 20 lap mark plus. Jimmy Carter has his hands full right now. Brian Short in the 112 applying pressure. Carter has really dropped off the pace. He's only 1 spot behind his biggest challenger for the points. That's Bud Perry, who is several car lengths ahead of him. 30 laps in at the line, this time coming off of 4 for the leader, Johnny Jenkins, the London, Ohio driver, looking for a big main event win this weekend. But the green team cars are coming. The T8 Gentry Supply cars into the 4th and 5th positions. Rick Sibla has slowed in the 63. He turns into the infield. He's done for the day, it looks like, as the field is starting to narrow. 45 of John Strobel about to go down a lap to the number 2 of Jenkins. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, nose to tail for Sibla. The reason he's pulled off the track, overheating as some steam comes out the overflow. Steve Needles, Terry Seneker side by side for the number 4 position. The reason? Needles looking high. He's thinking about a move. They're going to be coming up on the slower car, the 45 of John Strobel. We saw Terry Seneker and Needles make some contact again down in 4 last time. They continued on, and around the 45 of John Strobel they go, putting him a lap down. Jenkins still a comfortable lead in the Travco Construction, number 2 at the front of the pack. Just past the 1/3 mark of the race. It will be 36 in at the line for Jenkins this time. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, bumper to bumper. Steve Needles to the high lane of Tyler Rohrig for the 3rd spot. Here comes 2-time main event winner Steve Needles in the tag, number 14. Needles will clear the 24 of Rohrig on the backstretch. Tyler Rohrig back to 4th. Here comes top qualifier this weekend, Terry Seneker. Seneker into the 4th spot. Rohrig back to 5th. Donnie Zero Hill is not far behind. The moves are coming in a hurry now for the Michigan drivers. Trying to close on the London, Ohio driver, the number 2, Johnny Jenkins. Jenkins' lead is evaporating. Jenkins' lead is evaporating. His car starting to shove up the banking. He had his hand out the window. Having his hand out the window, Johnny Jenkins, his car getting a little bit sideways. Jenkins has some problems, I think, in that number 2. And we got a yellow for John Strobel. We're going to have a caution for John Strobel in the 45. He was down a lap, and he spun middle of the pack, and oh boy, does this set one up. Johnny Jenkins' lead was evaporating at the front of the field. Fair was closing in. .60 laps to go at the green for Johnny Jenkins. Here comes Needles to the outside immediately. Steve Needles to the outside of Harold Fair Jr. for the 2nd spot. He will take that position fairly easily down in the corner. Now it's Seneker's turn in the 37, Jenkins. Lead is almost gone. To the rear bumper, here comes the 14 of Varian Springs, Michigan driver Steve Needles. Also, Tyler Rohrig's going to fall out of the top 5 for the first time today. The 0 of many-time Columbus track champion Donnie Hill closes the door on him on the backstretch, and Needles is at the rear bumper of Johnny Jenkins, waiting and looking for an opening. Also, the points battle. The points battle takes a turn for development. The 10 car of Bud Perry, the point leader, being challenged by Jimmy Carter. Bud Perry trying to protect the bottom. Jimmy Carter there. Boy, Brian Short nearly spun it down in 1 and 2. He continues on, and for the lead, here comes Steve Needles. Needles looked outside, could not make the move. Terry Seneker in the 3rd spot. Needles looks to the high lane of Jenkins. Will Seneca go to the bottom? Needles takes it way out towards the wall in the front stretch. Jenkins so far has been able to hold him off. We're also watching the battle between Bud Perry and Jimmy Carter for that points position. Jenkins still strong enough, closing on the halfway mark. 47 in that time. Lap number 48 complete at the line this time for the London. Oh, Steve Needles sideways. Seneca takes second. Got into turn 3 a little bit too hot, and Seneca moved right underneath him, and now Needles is being challenged by Donnie Zero Hill. Hill to the inside. They rub some paint. Door to door in turn number 4 for Hill and Needles. Into turn number 1, Donnie Zero Hill. Into the third spot, Steve Needles, last year's winner. Oh, contact on the backstretch as Hill rubbed a little bit on the 14 of Needles. We are halfway, 50 laps in. 50 laps to go as the cross flags go up. And Jenkins has led the first 50 laps, but Seneca is there, beating on the door, trying to knock it down and go into the lead, trying to claim his third main event racing series main event win. He won in 07 and 09, was the first ever repeat winner of the race after 20-some years. And Seneca looks to become the first three-peat winner. Burgess White in the 58 car moves over. And now here comes Seneca to the bottom. Johnny Jenkins will go to the outside of Burgess White at the front of the pack. Donnie Zero Hill. It's a 4-car battle for the lead in the second half of this race. Jenkins leads. Seneca second. Hill third. Needles fourth. 54 in. We saw Needles go to the outside of Jenkins a little while ago. Got into turn 3 a little bit too hot. The car got sideways, and Seneca took the spot as well as Hill. Seneca doesn't want the same thing to happen to him. Jenkins doing everything he can to hold on. There's 45 to go. The 21, I think, of Drew Charleston starting to miss. Something sounds amiss in the 21 of Charleston as he came down the front stretch. Yeah, his car dropping off the pace. Drew Charleston, don't know whether he'll be able to make it to an end. Maybe electrical. Looking to the bottom, Zero Hill for second. Zero Hill for the second spot. Zero Hill on the inside of Terry Seneca. So he goes to the outside of Johnny Jenkins. Seneca hangs it out there on the front stretch. 3-car battle for the lead. Seneca for the lead on the outside of Johnny Jenkins. 60 laps in, 40 to go this time. Jenkins sideways on the bottom. Holding off Terry Seneca so far. Seneca hard into 1 and 2. Pulls up to the door now. This is the best run that he's had. He'll get a good run into 3. Jenkins up the banking. Seneca pulls ahead at the line at lap 61. Seneca the leader. For the lead, they continue to battle, and it's Seneca up front. He has taken over the lead. Zero Hill will now apply a challenge on Johnny Jenkins, who has given up the race lead. 14 of Needles racing. Oh, Zero Hill on his own down in the corner. Zero Hill spins to the infield and brings out the caution. Zero Hill in the Zero car. Hill to the pits, many-time Columbus Motor Speedway track champion. Position after a pit stop to get a little chug of milk back out onto the raceway for the final 39 circuits. Terry Seneca, John Jenkins, and Steve Needles. Jimmy Carter in that points battle with Bud Perry. Needs to pick up a few spots. Right now he's behind Perry, losing points at this stage. Neal's ready to challenge Johnny Jenkins for second. Jenkins now making his car a little wider, goes up towards the wall in the backstretch. Needles applies a bumper in turn 4. Steve Needles knows it's go time. His teammate is pulling away, and Needles applying pressure to the London, Ohio driver. Oh, so close in turn 4. Jenkins opens the bottom up. Here comes Needles. Steve Needles and Johnny Jenkins for second. Needles will move into the spot. Jenkins will drop into place in the third position. Terry Seneker, Steve Needles. Third is Johnny Jenkins. Fourth, Harold Fair Jr. in fifth. Tyler Rohrig running sixth is Bud Perry. Here goes Carter. Perry closes the door on the front stretch. Perry slammed the door shut on Jimmy Carter on the front stretch of that battle for position and the points. Very close in lap times for Terry Seneker and Steve Needles. Closing on the 58 car of Burgess White. Donnie Hill trying to work his way back through the pack. Oh, Brian Short sideways. Hill looks to the outside. Look out down in turn 3. Short has his hands full. Donnie Hill makes some contact, rips off the right front of his ride. Donnie Hill in the 0. Closing on the 3/4 mark of the race. Boy, Donnie Hill applying big-time pressure to Brian Short. '71 of Harold Fair Jr. racing with a 24 of Tyler Rohrig. All Fair and Rohrig for the number 4 position. Fair has slowed during the course of this race today. A couple of good battles going on in the field. 75 laps in, 25 to go that time at the stripe for Terry Seneker, who is maintaining his sizable lead on the 14 of Needles. Brian Short in the 112, dropping back now, giving up a spot to the 0 of Hill. Drew Charlson, despite the engine issue or the mechanical issue, still running, but definitely not sounding good. Closing in on the final 20 circuits of this one, 23 to go that time. Seneker closing on lap traffic. He catches the 78 of Travis Eddy, goes to the outside of him. Seneker to the outside of Travis Eddy, putting him down a circuit. Second generation racer, first visit, and a late model for Eddy. He's been here in a modified in the past. Drew Charlson, I can't believe that car's made it as long as it has. To the outside goes the 14 of Needles, putting down the 78 car of Eddy. 0 Hill is closed on the 28 car of Jimmy Carter. Jack Varney Jr., his hand out the window, waving the 37 of Seneker by as he goes down a lap. Terry Seneker looking for his third main event victory at Columbus Motor Speedway. 3 out of the last 5 years if he wins it. Needles might be closing just a little bit, but the 37 of Seneca was in some traffic. A yellow might make things kind of interesting, but we are now 15 laps from the finish, and Terry Seneca racing with Brian Short, trying to get around him, put him in a circuit down. Eight cars on the lead lap. They are Seneca, Needles, Jenkins, Fair, Rohrig in the 5th spot, Perry in the 6th spot, 7th is Carter, and 8th is Donnie Hill. Charleston's car sounds sicker and sicker lap after lap, but it's still out there 13 laps away, and it's nearly slowed to a crawled pace on the straightaways. Sounds like he's on about 4 cylinders. Donnie Zero Hill, after a solo spin on our last caution, has caught Jimmy Carter. That is for 7th. Right now, Bud Perry in line for the championship if he can hang on to the 6th position without any issues down the stretch, and his car looks pretty good right now. He's finished in the top 5 in 4 out of the 5 races this season, and he's just 1 spot away from a top 5 right now. Closing on Donnie Hill is Terry Seneca. Terry Seneca closing on the 0 of Donnie Hill. The 8th place car about to go down a lap. Hill starting to smoke a little bit as well. And he slows down in turn 2, and Seneca gets around to the outside. Needles has cut the lead for Seneca down to about 6 car lengths, but may run out of time. 5 to go this next time around for Terry Seneca's number 37. He is closing on Jimmy Carter, trying to lap the 2010 Main Event Series point champion. Oh, Charleston and Rory get together down in 1 and 2 as Charleston goes down another lap. Seneca right behind Jimmy Carter. 4 more laps to go. 4 more laps to go. And Seneca trying to lap Jimmy Carter, who was one of the possible threats to win today, but Carter a little bit off during the course of the race. Jimmy Carter moves over to the inside lane, and Seneca goes to the outside. Terry Seneca lapping now the 8th place car, Jimmy Carter. Well, Carter takes him high into the corner, and Steve Needles is closing. Needles is closing on the leader, Terry Seneca. Jimmy Carter there on the inside lane, and white flag this time. Final circuit, 1 to go for Seneca. He will try to get around Bud Perry as well. Seneca around Jimmy Carter, around Bud Perry. Needles slides high, loses several car lengths off of turn number 4 from Wayland, Michigan. Main event win number 3 to Terry Seneca. Needles second, finishing 3rd in turns 3 and 4. Great run this weekend for Johnny Jenkins. Finishing in the 4th spot is Fair. Finishing in 5th is Rohrig. As we finish this race with Seneca claiming the victory. One of the top drivers from the state of Michigan. The Enterprise Iron and Metal, Oman Excavating, Crown Motors, Weller Auto Parts, TA Gentry Supply, number 37. He was the first ever repeat winner of the main event, did that in 2009. It was his 2nd win. His first came in 2007. He is now the first 3-time winner of the main event. He was top qualifier in the 12-second bracket, the only driver in the 12-second bracket, and today he wins from the 8th starting position. Wayland, Michigan driver Terry Seneca. Well, Terry, again this year, not a surprise. The green team was the favorites here today, and they finished 1st and 2nd. You found the opening the big move came, I don't know, 40 laps to go or so. You got to the inside of Steve. He slid up, trying to get around Johnny Jenkins up front.
Yeah, we did. We took advantage of track. Slower cars there. Got inside of him. Yeah, I didn't think that battle for the lead was going to be that early in the race, but it presented itself, and we had to take it because I tell you, after a long green run at the end there, I was losing the front end, and it was getting real tight. So I'm kind of glad we did. It would have been a tough fight back to the front if we would have got behind Steve.
There were some decent green flag runs in today's race. There wasn't really that big pile up front on the first lap like last year. That's always something that's in the back of your mind on the opening start, is how's everybody going to be able to get through turns 1 and 2 cleanly, and they did great today.
Yeah, that was great. Everybody drove with a lot of respect today. Everybody kept their heads about them. That's what you want to see. Some fans like to see a crash. It's exciting, but it's no fun for the drivers and for the team. So to get through that in one piece, I'm glad we all did.
Teammate coming over here to celebrate his second place run as well. You can get some team photos taken with all this green on the front straightaway and the green in your pocket with the cash after this race here today. Congratulations.
Yep, thank you very much.
Terry Sineker, the main event, number 24 winner at Columbus Motor Speedway. So pulling on to the front stretch, the other two-time winner of this race. Same sponsors pretty much across the side, across the hood and the rear of this number 14 car. Came up just a little bit short today. Car was really free in qualifying yesterday. Hung on to it for a decent top 5 qualifying effort. And a second place run for Berrien Springs, Michigan driver Steve Needles. Well, Steve, second place is, as some people say, the first loser, but you knew your biggest competition this race was going to be the car that looked a lot like yours, and that was the case today.
Yeah, he had a really good car. We were both really good. I got a little free there into 3 trying to get around the 2 car, and he was kind of running a goofy line, so TR snuck underneath me there, but it was a good race from then on. It was pretty fun. Good job.
You caught him there in the last couple of laps when he was working around some slower traffic there and thought maybe you had a chance, and then you kind of pushed high over there in turn number 2.
Yeah, I got up in the marbles, and that shot any chance I had at getting to him, but we were both about equal and both had really good cars, and it was a lot of fun. It's good to get a 1-2 finish.
Good run.
Thanks.
Steve Needles, second place run for the number 14, and congratulations as well to Edgerton, Ohio driver Bud Perry, who will clinch the 2011 Main Event Racing Series Point Championship. Finished just out of the top 5 today.
I about side-slapped the wall down there. Did you see that?
I think they're trying to get Bud Perry out on the track. If he wants to come out, that would be great.
Don't run away.
But Bud Perry, the point champion, by way of his finish ahead of Jimmy Carter, and he had the points advantage coming in. Mr. Consistency this year. We saw Gary Whipke do it a lot, winning championships over the years. Mr. Consistency this year was Bud Perry, finishing in the top 5 4 out of the 6 races, and very close to doing that here today. For the TA Supply team, this is the 5th Main Event Racing Series win in a row. Reminder to drivers and teams, take your transponders off of the car and take them back, turn them in. Turn your transponders in before leaving the track here this afternoon. Thanks to everyone for coming out for Main Event 24 here at Columbus Motor Speedway. It looked like weather was going to be an issue all week long. We got to the weekend and all of a sudden Mother Nature let us get it in. Got to see some decent racing during the course of Saturday and Sunday. Thanks again for coming out to all of the teams, drivers, and you fans competing here at Columbus Motor Speedway. Tuned on Main Event Racing Series.com for all the details for the 2012 racing season. Keep you updated in this winter months coming up. Thanks again for coming out, and please remember to buckle up and drive home safely.
Everybody look this way. Awesome.
still work, a little squeaky, but another consistent finish for the 2011 Main Event Racing Series point champion, Bud Perry. Well, Bud, nice job this season. Mr. Consistency, first time you've run with the Main Event Series on a full-time basis, and this car was pretty good everywhere.
Yeah, when we said we was going to do this series there, I'm like, it's going to be fun, different. You know, I've been running modifieds for 16 years or so and run a few super late races here and there. And I thought, well, this would be good to go do some traveling and just kind of had an open mind and really didn't plan on finishing as well as we did. But I'd like to thank Tim Curry awful lot at Finish Line. He helped us out tremendously. He told us he'd get it ready for us and we wouldn't have to touch it, and he was pretty much right on that. So I want to commend him for all of his efforts and my team for working on all the cars that we have. But yeah, this thing's been pretty good. We got a little snugger towards the end, so I was holding the bottom to keep him behind me. But other than that, well, this thing's been pretty good. And of course, you know how well I run Columbus in the past. This is my first main event race I've ever had to make, so it was a good one to make.
I think you had a little better car underneath you this year. I think that helped out a little bit. You know, you got to have pretty good stuff when you got some of these dogs coming from Michigan.
Oh, yeah, I mean, Team Green's in a league of their own, obviously, but I just come in here just wanted to make the race and run respectable, but I'd have never guessed that we would have qualified fifth, you know, with the cars that was here this weekend.
Jimmy Carter, the 2010 champion of the series, was probably the favorite to win the championship this year. He had a couple of races where he got caught up in stuff today. You were battling him for the point championship. He was right on your rear bumper for a big part of the race.
Yeah, I know he likes the bottom here at Columbus, and I was trying to keep it down there. He could have all he wanted on the outside, so I just kept it down, and you know, he's a respectable guy. I think he might have got into me a little bit a couple times down here in the front stretch, but all in all, I respect that man quite a bit. You know, I talked to him quite a bit this weekend, and he even kind of told me which car I needed to run this weekend, so hats off to Jimmy Carter. It's class act.
What do you have left in the season? Any races left on your schedule?
We've got the Winchester 400 with modified, and that'll be it.
I'll see you there.
Right on.
Bud Perry, the main event champion in 2011.
Hey, how you doing?
Flagman extraordinaire Chuck. How we do this here?
Make sure I make the film.
Exciting race, wasn't
It
it?
was a great race.
Yep.
Number 24, Johnny Jenkins, and Harold Fair Jr. in our front row. Eddie in the 78 is spun with 1 lap in and 99 laps to go. Eddie has Luke Green coming off of turn number 4. Here we go. Jenkins brings her in. Jenkins in the 50. 24 is back underway. Jenkins, 2 minutes on the early lap. They continue on. Alinga now giving him room. coming in, but bad news for Harold.